5007.
Okay, we're on record following a request for an emergency removal that was granted by this jurist yesterday afternoon. The mother of the child in this case has unfortunately passed away. There is Mr. Everts has joined us today. He is the putative father. We're awaiting DNA testing, but there were some concerns arising to the level that the court issued a removal order from Mr. Everts yesterday. So today's the prelim set on that piece. And although Mr. Everts is not officially our legal or father at this point in time, we're still going to follow our procedures on preliminary hearing as it relates to the child. So may I have the names of our participants, please?
Carson Howard, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department.
Chelsea Pelham, CPS.
Michael McFarland, I'm from the Public Defender's Office. I'm here if and when Mr. Everts is determined to be a legal father.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Howitt, essentially, I don't have an attorney appointed for the child specifically, but were you able to investigate the case?
Yeah, I was able to read the petition this morning. And
okay, based on that information, did you agree that the removal should stand, or is there any additional testimony you'd like to hear today on that point?
no, I agree that the removal should stand.
Mr. McFarland, I understand that your client is not officially the legal father as of yet, so I would hate to put you through all of the normal procedures that we use in a prelim. Do you have any requests specifically, understanding the circumstances?
Well, Your Honor, since I'm not officially his attorney, I do have a question regarding Native American heritage. I think that's important for me to ask if I could.
Certainly, although we don't have any, at this point, it's preliminary to even ask that question of Mr. Everts, considering.
No, but he may, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. It may or may not matter if he has Native American heritage, because we don't know if he's the father yet.
I was going to say Native heritage regarding the deceased mother, Your Honor.
I would hope that Ms. Pelham has that information. Deputy, should you swear her in?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Okay, Ms. Pelham, is all of the information contained in your petition truthful, accurate, and complete to the best of your knowledge and information?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does that include confirmation that the mother of the child has passed away?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a death certificate
Yes, there should be one attached.
attached? Yes, very good. Okay, and then as it relates to potential Native American heritage, were you able to investigate that with any members of her family?
Yes, for mother.
And what were your findings?
There's none noted.
Okay, very well. Do you know if Mr. Everts has been served with a copy of the petition at this time?
I do. Yes, he was last night.
All right, and did you do that, or was that someone else?
On call.
Okay. Ms. Thomas, this is really your witness. Did you have anything you wanted to go through with her today on the record?
Your Honor, at this time, I just want to be mindful of the court's time. I believe that it's fairly straightforward, and the child does not have a legal parent at this time, and we are asking the court to determine the child's dependent and order the child to be placed with the department pending further investigation on the putative father matter.
Very well. Anything for the record from you, Mr. McFarland?
You have one question of the worker.
Okay, very good.
When you had asked mother about the Native heritage, did you ask if she was a member of a tribe, or did you ask if she had any Indian blood in her family line?
I typically ask if you have any Native American heritage, you're part of a tribe.
Fair enough. No further questions.
Okay. Ms. Pelham, are you going to continue to investigate Mr. Everts as a potential placement for this child?
Yes.
Very good. And what will that involve?
Home studies if he finds an appropriate home, working with, I think the prosecutor's office is doing DNA testing and providing services if he wants them.
Very good. And have you determined if the child needs any additional supports or services?
At this time, I did make a referral for early on. I think that would be a really beneficial thing for him.
And what about the placement? I know that was a friend of the mother's, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, have you inquired from her if she needs any additional supports?
Yes, I have.
All All right, Mr. Howard, do you have any questions for Ms. Pelham?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions based on my questions, Mr. McFarland?
Oh, thank you.
Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, just based on the placement issue, I just want to clarify for the record. I know this is the petition, but Ms. Pelham, as relates to placement, obviously priority is given to family. Were there efforts made to determine whether there would be a family available to take placement of this child?
Yes, contact was made with the maternal grandmother and aunt. Both of them declined being able to take placement and encouraged us to place with Miss Anderson Morgan.
Okay. And do you believe that Ms. Anderson Morgan is agreeable or would be willing to facilitate any relationships with extended family members for this child?
Absolutely, she would be happy to.
Okay. And just to confirm, Ms. Anderson Morgan, her home, has that been evaluated at this time?
It has.
And is it appropriate for the child?
It is.
Okay. And then also background checks, just wanting to double check on that. Were there any concerns with any background checks?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, well, you've raised a couple for me. Ms. Pelham, I know as far as the petition goes, as far as Mr. Everett's as a placement, there's some criminal history here and some CPS history,
Yes.
some issues with housing, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you able to determine if he has any employment at this time?
As far as I know, he does not. I have been told he's kind of like a reseller. He buys things and then resells it.
And his housing is what at the moment?
He lives with Adrian. I don't know how much longer that will be an option.
And I know that there was a CPS case with a termination of parental rights, which is rather old, but have you had a chance to determine what those reasons were for termination?
I know just the maltreatment types. I don't know anything in depth, but it was physical abuse, domestic violence, and improper supervision.
All right, have you had the chance to investigate whether or not he's had any services for any of those issues since that time?
Slightly, because it is so old and it didn't happen in Lenawee County. We don't have the full records. I have in Wayne County, which is very hard to contact, but he stated that he was provide services and he didn't do them, which is why his rights were terminated.
There are some assaultive criminal things that have accumulated over 2018, 19, and 2022 as well. Is that right?
That's right.
All right, any questions based on my questions?
Just a few. My understanding is placement is with a fictive kin, a fake family, somebody who's very close. Is that correct?
That's correct.
My understanding is child was living with Mr. Everett and the deceased mother for some time, correct? Or am I incorrect, or is that incorrect?
That is incorrect. As far as I know, he did not reside with the deceased mother. The deceased mother resided with the fictive kin.
Okay. Does this child have any relationship to any bond with Mr. Everett?
I would imagine yes, as he's been with him for the past couple months, and I know all throughout his life he had some sporadic visits.
Gotcha. So as maybe a possible fictive kin himself, what are your thoughts about visitations for him if he so wishes?
I think visitations would be appropriate.
And how would he go about doing that? Contacting you?
He could contact me. This will be transferred to Fostering Solutions, but if he contacts me, I can get the contact information.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Ms. Thomas?
I have no further questions.
All right, very well. Well, I can adjourn the prelim for up to 14 days, understanding that we're about to have the DNA test results back. On the other hand, he's not been indicated as a respondent at this time, obviously, potentially because he doesn't have those rights. So option B is to simply conclude today's preliminary hearing as it relates to the child and then leave it to the department to decide whether or not to either place with Mr. Everett if he is determined to be the legal father of the child, and or to file an amended petition indicating him as a respondent. What is your preference, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I anticipated conclusion of today's hearing and that upon determination of paternity, if necessary, we would have to file an amended petition or a supplemental depending on timelines there. But yes, that was my intention, was to file another petition if necessary.
Okay, Mr. McCarroll?
For the record, I did contact the prosecutor's office for these type of cases, the support cases, they indicated that the results should have been today or tomorrow, but they anticipate they'll be about a week away. So I think 14 days would be appropriate. She said they are running substantially behind, so that's, I'm kind of optimistic a week.
Mr. Howard?
No, nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I will trust the department and Ms. Pelham to continue to be vigilant on the point of determining whether or not Mr. Everts is the biological and therefore the legal father of the child, and to bring that to the court's attention regardless of my decision on procedures today. I will conclude the preliminary hearing as best we were able to with the information that we have, confirming the removal and the continued placement of the child with his fictive kin that he is familiar with, pending further results. And we'll look for an update from Ms. Pelham on all of the issues that were brought up today at our next juncture. So I would look to set a pretrial on the case. I have the morning of Tuesday, February 18th. Set that at 9 o'clock.
Fine.
Good.
That works for me, Your Honor. Thank you.
No issues for me.
Very good. All right. So we'll see you all then on the 18th for a pretrial. In the meantime, we'll leave Ms. Pelham and Fostering Solutions to handle any requests from Mr. Everts for visitation, services, continued services in support of the child and the placement and monitoring of that DNA test results. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
Yeah.